Race 3 here at Brands Hatch, then the final race of the season. And before we look at the grid, let's have a little look at the current standings with the points for the leading contenders. So in the Drivers' Championship, Sam is 2 points behind Tom with 198 to 200. Darren is a little bit further down with 182, and obviously down further is Kieran with 144. Josh is 143. In the Teams Championship, Parker Racing have pretty much wrapped it up with 345, and K-Tech are on 317. And Parker Racing have really got to have a nightmare to allow K-Tech to take the win. In the independents then, Josh has pretty much won it and can't be overtaken by Callum. Josh is on 216 and Callum is on 171. So let's actually have a little look at the grid for the final race then. On the front row of the grid, we've got the Ford Mustang of Craig Kellett, and we've got Rob Pellett in the Hyundai Genesis. On the second row of the grid, we've got Mike Kuipers in the Ford Mustang, and we've got Callum Baker in the Subaru WRX. On row 3, we've got Josh Hardy in the Renault Megane, and we've got Mark Nichol also in another Renault Megane. On row 5, then we've got Gary Black with the Subaru WRX, and the first K-Tech Racing of Tom Foster in the Subaru WRXs. Sam Parker, Team Parker Racing, is next with Kieran Thomas at the back row of the grid with Darren Parker. Okay, here we go then. This is it, the final race. It all comes down to the next 14 laps, and it's down to 2 points between Tom and Sam for the title. And away they go then. Craig is on the front row of the grid with Rob, and Rob gets away a little bit slower with Callum with a stormy start, and there's Gary on the grass already, so an interesting start for the guys then. Rob is in the lead with Craig behind, and this is good for Rob, who's unfortunately not able to make the first race. So this is allowing, Craig's gone on the inside and already trying to attack Rob. Let's look at our main contenders then. Here is Sam Parker in 7th position currently, and Tom is in 9th. So Tom is behind Darren, so Darren is playing a bit of a regun. Oh, there's Mark, there's a bit of a hit there. Rubber's racing though, so nothing too dangerous. But that's pushed Tom further down into 10th, and this is not going to help Tom's title fight. And if it stays as it is, which I imagine it won't, but Sam will take the win. So Kieran there looking to support Tom to boost him up to take the win. Oh, a bit of a hit there by Gary, and also we've got one of the Parker Racings was half off the track, but luckily they're all still going. And Tom's gone on the inside of Mark then. One of the... that's a big hit, and that's a big off for Darren Parker. Darren is now in the gravel, and that will definitely be looked at by the stewards, and that is very interesting to look at for the final race of the season. It's a shame it's really come down to a bit of physical contact, but we can take a little look at the replays then to see what actually happened there. So on board with Tom then, as it comes round turn 1, goes on the inside of Mark, and then as he brakes, he's a bit of contact. He's unfortunately hit into Darren. Let's go on board with Mark to see if we can find a little bit more information. There's Tom in the background. He goes on the right hand side. There we go. So unfortunately it looks like one of the Parker Racing Renaults, which would have been Sam, unfortunately goes into Mark, who goes into Tom, and then Tom goes into Darren. So it's a bit of a shame that it's a bit of a driver error, and unfortunately there'll be no real penalty given there. It's a bit of a racing incident. So Tom now is behind Sam, and it if the positions stay as they are, it'll be Sam with equal points to Tom. So as we've spoken before, unless one of them wins this race, they won't be on the countback of wins either. So we'll have to look at another way of deciding it. And she just saw, just back then, Gary Black was off the track and on the grass. But luckily didn't affect the two guys here racing as the laps count down. Lap 3 of 14 then. At the front we've got Craig, and Craig is hoping to take an actual win after his accident on race 2, and currently Josh is behind. So Josh is looking to take that win. As we've said before, Josh desperate for a win, but a few little mistakes is stopping him from getting that first race achievement and his win under his belt. So Kieran has managed to get ahead of Sam then, and Tom is still behind Sam here, struggling to get past, a little bit like what Kieran was struggling to do in the second race, because of the natural narrow track that is Brands Hatch. Lap 4, and Tom is still behind Sam. Don't forget, the fastest lap will also count towards the final points, so that will be one of the points desirable for the two. Mike is doing quite well there in third, another podium on the way for him, and I think Mike will take away some positives from this season with his consistent performances and a few podiums already. He hasn't taken any wins, but maybe next season, depending on the car he chooses, I think he'll stand a good chance of independence title. Back here with Tom then, behind Sam, and Tom is pushing again, and you can see where Tom is quick, very similar to Kieran. The Subarus are very quick around the back end. The four-wheel drives are an advantage around the back end, twisty, turny sections. But as soon as the Renaults get down the straight, they leave the Subarus behind. Let's look at Sam then. Oh, that's Mike. Mike's gone off. That's a shame with Mike. And I don't know if that was Mike himself or if there was a bit of contact, but that's a real shame for Mike there. Let's have a little look at the replay to find out what actually happened to Mike. So here's Mike as he goes into turn 2 around the hairpin, and he's just put too much power down as he comes out the corner. The wheel spun it, and unfortunately he's not been able to regain the control. So Mike has gone down to 8th behind Callum. Further back up then with this race, Kieran is still ahead of Sam, who is ahead of Tom. So they're actually up now to 3rd, 4th and 5th, where the points get bigger, and this is now allowing Sam to be ahead of Tom in the championship by just a couple of points. As they go on to lap 6, Sam is looking at getting past Kieran, but I imagine Kieran is playing a very heavy defensive strategy to slow Sam down and allow Tom past. This is very close action, and at the moment there's a bit of a stalemate. No one's really making any big moves, and I think they probably won't want to be, in case it's too much and it ruins their races. So holding off maybe initially until the last few laps where they really need to make some decisive moves. Again, let's have a look at Tom, and he's really close to Sam. I think he might have something here, and he's right close to him down the side. Is it enough? He could get maybe the switchback. No, not quite, but Sam is defending hard now. Tom is right on Sam's rear end of the car. So go down into the first corner yet again. Oh, nearly a bit of a dive there from Tom, and then nearly a little bit of contact, and that wouldn't have been too good for Tom if he'd have hit Sam. Great camera angle there, seeing the cars go straight over the top. The weather's been good for the guys throughout the whole season. Nearly rained at Red Bull, nearly rained at Spa, but it wasn't to be, so it's been a fully dry season. And Tom is now staying solid behind Sam. And the good thing with this for Tom is that he's not letting Sam get away without the fight. So he's there, he's putting the pressure on Sam, almost waiting for a mistake to happen. And I think Sam's made a move on Kieran, but it's not worked out. So they're on lap 8 of 14 and continuing to do well with their consistency. No one's really gone off yet, and that's Sam again, and he's really hot on Kieran now. He's down the side of him on the outside though. Now what does this mean for Sam? He's had to hold back behind Kieran, but look at Tom in the back. Tom's close again. Sam has been in a Subaru sandwich for a while, and I think Kieran's gone off. Kieran is off, but Sam's nearly followed him, and that's allowed Tom to get through. Kieran manages just to keep the car straight. Tom's off in the gravel, but he's back on again. This is fantastic racing. The two are on and off the circuit. Oh, there's a little bit of a tap there. Not quite. Tom keeps it going. So Tom is ahead now, Sam. This changes it all. Tom is now leading the championship. Can you believe how much it changes? And Sam's got back ahead again. Tom's on the outside. Has he gone too wide? He's hit the gravel. Whoa, he's kept it going. Unbelievable this. So Sam is now in third position and is leading the championship again. Once it was Sam, then it was Tom, then it's Sam again. So grab the popcorn, because this is a fight to watch. It looks like it could go right down to the final lap. We're on lap 9 now, 14. Those laps are ticking down. We will know who wins the inaugural FeckWrest Touring Car Online Championship for Season 1 within literally the next 10 minutes. Tom's on the back of Sam again. Those indicators aren't going to help you, Sam. Tom might have got him on the inside. Does he get it? He's got him. He's got him on the inside. And Kieran's behind Sam now, so Kieran's going to put pressure on Sam. He could push him down even further, which will allow Tom to gain even more points ahead of Sam. But in all honesty, Tom only needs to be ahead of Sam to win it, because he's already ahead by 2 points. It's Sam that needs to be ahead of Tom by at least 2 or more to stand a chance of winning. Then Sam's back on the inside. Tom's nearly in the gravel again. Kieran's behind there to support Tom. And Sam's got it again. Kieran's got on the inside of Tom now. Kieran's got on the inside of Sam. A little bit of a push wide. Tom's on the outside of Sam. And Tom is on the grass slightly. He's going wide. This is unbelievable. Tom's on the grass now. So Tom has gone on the grass. But Tom is still ahead of Sam. And he's behind Kieran now. Will Kieran take some team orders and allow Tom to get past as Tom goes on the grass? Watching Sam now. Let's see what he does. This is lap 10 of 4. Don't go away, because this is turning out to be a right corker of an end of a season. Look at those 2 Subarus. They're right back to back. And I don't know if Tom is able to get past Kieran. I don't know if Kieran's going to let him pass, maybe. But this is allowing Sam to get through, maybe. And Sam's got through again. Oh, no, he doesn't. No, maybe not. No, not quite. Tom runs slightly wide, but Sam doesn't have quite the power. And at the moment, it looks like it's down to these. But saying that, Darren is in the background. I think Darren's too far behind. He's got to get ahead, maybe win the race. I don't think Darren's in it now. He knew he was as an outsider, but he at least could come and support Sam. So I think he might be coming along to at least give Sam an extra Renault to fight the 2 Subarus. At least it's been fair. Tom's gone wide again. So Tom was on the outside, nearly hitting those curves. He was lucky to not spin out there and completely throw it all away. Back with Sam on the interior. I'm nearly losing my voice because of this. So still Kieran ahead of Tom then, as Tom's going to get past. Is that, I think he might have let him pass there, either there or it's a mistake. So Kieran now acts as a barrier ahead of Sam to stop Tom being overtaken, but Sam's got him on the inside already. Sam gets across the apex and is ahead of Kieran. So Kieran has now not got that defence mechanism to support Tom, so it's Sam back on Tom's case to put the pressure back on lap 12 and 14. 3 laps to go. Where is Darren? Here's Darren, so he can actually see all 3 of them in the background there, and not too far behind. Can imagine on their radios Sam is desperate for Darren's support. We are sorry that no one else is unfortunately getting any attention here. We still know that Craig is leading this race, but the race here for the title, we can't take our eyes off of it because of how close it is. So Sam comes round then behind Tom for the penultimate lap, and Tom has managed to get a slight gap and is holding it for a little bit longer than what he was beforehand, so it's maybe become a little bit more comfortable. Sam has held off the pressure, but he's running out of time now. 2 laps to go. So Tom is still leading then, and is still on his way to win the championship. That's Tom on the grass again though. That's the last place he wants to be. Kieran again still trying to support Tom, but he's just not where he needs to be. And oh my god, Tom nearly loses it. He's on the grass, and Sam may have a run on Tom now as they come round the final corner. It comes down to this in the final lap of the race. Tom is ahead of Sam, and at the moment Tom is on his way to winning the championship. 1 lap to go. So Sam gets a run, and I think he's got a good run. He's got a great run, and he's got the inside. He's got it. So Sam is ahead of Tom now, and Sam is now leading the championship. It literally is just down to these 2 positions. Beard switched over, but Tom might have a run on Sam. Sam's wide on the grass, but Sam holds it. Tom's on the outside. That's not the right place. Can he get the switch back? Kieran watching from behind here, and Kieran's probably loving this. It's fantastic to watch. Can Tom make a comeback? He's taking a bit. Oh, Kieran's gone wide on the grass. A little bit of rallycross there, the Subaru, and it's a bit of a touch there. Oh, lucky that Tom holds back. Doesn't allow Sam to get it. Is this the last run for Tom? Can he get him? It's not quite worked out. Great defending by Sam. Tom's got the outside. It's the last bend. Can he believe it's going to come down to this? A bit of a push by Kieran, and Tom's got to run. He's got to run on Sam. Is it going to be enough? No, Sam takes it and takes the title ahead of Tom. Sam gets 3rd then, ahead of Tom in 4th. Kieran gets 5th, but ultimately Sam wins the FeckWrest Touring Car Championship. Fantastic stuff. Well done to Sam for winning the title literally by less than a second. So these are our winners. Sam is our title champion. Let's have a little look at the results. Craig gets the final win of the season then, with Josh in 2nd. Sam will take 3rd to take the title of the FeckWrest Touring Car Online Championship. Tom will come 4th to take the runners-up prize. Kieran will take 5th, Darren in 6th, Mike will take 7th with Mark in 8th, Calvin down in 9th with Gary Black, and in 11th to the back of the grid is Rob. Here are your champions then. Team Parker Racing Teams champions for season 1, and Sam Parker, who is the drivers champion. There's Josh. Josh is our independence champion for season 1, and here is Tom, the runner-up for the drivers title for season 1.